All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the winners of 7 straight football games in tonight's video. That's right, it's the New England Patriots. Now, that win on the road against Tampa Bay Buccaneers was very impressive to me. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, but I do live and have lived in the Tampa Bay area for a little bit, and that Tampa defense is underrated. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I know they had a pretty solid record heading into it, 6-2, very good record, but they just came off their bye week. You know, the NFL media world doesn't really talk too much Tampa Bay sports in general, and just watching that game, you could tell Drake May was getting pressured all the time. I mean, he went like 16-31. You could tell Tampa, outside of like 2 big, huge run plays from Travion Henderson, they're pretty solid against the run. And, you know, Baker, that offense is a little bit banged up, but this is a win that kind of only solidifies your opinion on this team. Now, what really got it going was, this feels like ages ago, when New England went on the road in prime time and beat the Buffalo Bills. That's when it was like, okay, there's something here. And then they take on the New Orleans Saints, the Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns, and, you know, those are 3 of the more bottom feeders in the NFL this season. And so then, you know, we see the Atlanta win, and now we see the road Tampa Bay victory, and well, you know, obviously they've now won 7 straight, and they're 8-2, and they're, by every metric possible, one of the best teams in the NFL, but it just starts to feel like really legit. And we've been saying, and you guys, you know, Patriots fans, you guys have been saying this as well, like, the team realistically is a year away. And there's no clear wide receiver 1 here. You've got a solid but not great yet offensive line. You've got a solid but not great running game as well. You know, we look at Kyle Williams, we look at Travion Henderson, and it's just very exciting because this team's only going to get better. So, welcome back to the channel, where I obviously talk about the New England Patriots. We do so at least once a week, so be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys haven't already. Shooting for 100 likes on tonight's video goes a huge difference in the algorithm, so thank you guys. But the Patriots, they lead the AFC East right now, 8-2. They are tied for the best record in the conference with the Indianapolis Colts, and it's just cool. I don't, you know, we said this last week, we say this after every Patriots win, I don't want to look too far ahead. You know, the next couple of games before the Patriots bye, it's not too scary. But even heading into Sunday's game against Tampa, the Patriots had the highest NFL projected playoff probability according to The Athletic, according to a bunch of other, you know, kind of postseason simulators, and they just backed that up. All right, so you have to keep in mind, this Patriots team has not lost since their 5-turnover outing all the way back on September 21st against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I said I don't want to look too far ahead, but next Thursday, or 2 days from now, Thursday, at home against the New York Jets, you got Cincy, and I don't think Burrow will be back for that, and then you've got the New York Giants. So the Patriots could be a 10-win team. On paper, they should be a 10-win team heading into their late season bye, which is huge. Speaking of that game, Drake May, 16-31, 270 passing, 2 touchdowns. He did have that bad interception, but you know, he hasn't made too many mistakes like that this season. Travion Henderson. So Jennings goes down with an injury. You know, we know Ramondre Stevenson's had an injury. And Travion, 14 carries for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, along 69 yards. He iced the game. He pretty much won it on that long run. He even looked back at the coaching staff to make sure that it was okay. And you know, the just kind of the big takeaway here, and I'm sure Patriots fans, you guys want to see this as well, like, please more Kyle Williams and Travion Henderson. Speaking of Kyle Williams, he had a huge 72-yard touchdown on 3rd and 14 from Drake May, and I loved it. You know, we talk all the time, and so does the whole NFL, and the whole media world talks about how good Drake May is with deep ball passing. He might just be the best deep ball passer in the NFL this season. I'm sure statistics would probably back that quote or that takeout, but Matt Collins getting it going, 6 catches for 106. Stephon Diggs had a money touchdown from Drake May on 4th down. So even though it wasn't May's best statistical game, 16-31, you know, just kind of shows out in the stat sheet in the incompletion percentage, or the completion percentage rather, that was one of the more impressive games from Drake May this season. You know, going in these clutch moments, just really perfect placed 4th-and-1 touchdown to Stephon Diggs right before halftime. Put it where really only Diggs could make a play, and Diggs made one heck of a play on that. They weren't able to run the ball all too well outside the 2 big runs from Travion Henderson. So, I said this offensive line, it's solid, it's pretty good. They're not quite at great yet. And that just goes back to the point of, hey, this Patriots team it's a year away. And when we look at the defense, they're the 6th rated defense in the NFL as far as points per game allowed. So the Patriots are only giving up about 19 a game. They're also most notably the best rushing defense in the NFL. It's 2025, and they're only allowing 79 rushing yards per game. What I love honestly about this whole Patriots team, and I think I said this in a video or two ago, they really do remind me in a different sense of my Green Bay Packers a couple years ago, Jordan Love. Like, the Packers, we were like 3-6 at some point, and then Jordan Love goes on kind of like this MVP heater at the end of the season, and they win a playoff game on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. It's like a more polished Green Bay Packers team, but the reason I draw that comparison is just because I know the coaches are different, but you've got this young quarterback, you've got these young wide receivers. I know Diggs and Hollins, I guess, aren't that young, but you've just got a lot of new faces. You've got a lot of youngsters, and every single week, both offensively and defensively, somebody's making some play, right? So we saw Matt Collins, we saw Travion Henderson, we saw Kyle Williams. Defensively, so you've got one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, in Christian Gonzalez. I think the Patriots are undefeated this season when Christian Gonzalez plays, but that's just kind of my point is they've got all of these guys. They've got some stars, but you never know who's going to make the play and who's going to have the game. It's different every single week, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's really intriguing, and it's really exciting to watch. Offensively, New England's putting up about 27 a game. That's 8th in the NFL. Even though they've had some run issues, they're still 16th in the NFL, so you got some room for improvement, but they're getting the job done. They're 5th in yards per play. They're 4th in touchdowns. They're 8th in passing yards. Drake May is literally an MVP candidate on the season. Not even speaking of the completion percent, he's got 19 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. What was funny about his interception against Tampa was it was like what was it? I'll actually even fact check this real quick if I got the time. Hold on. He threw a 54-yarder to Matt Collins and then threw an interception a couple of plays later, and that's just uncharacteristic of Drake May this season. So the dude's very exciting. I really am enjoying watching this team play every single week. You've got 3 nice games for a victory here, and yeah, sky's the limit for this Patriots team. 8-2. Enjoy the victory week on a short week. We'll see you Thursday against the New York Jets, hopefully with a victory recap. But thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. We'll see you soon. Peace.